Doctor Who Flux Chapter 1, The Halloween Apocalypse, arrived yesterday, and I thought it was very good. I really enjoyed it. It wasn't perfect, but it felt high concept, just completely mad and extremely ambitious, so I'm really excited to see what the rest of the series brings. So let's talk about the characters. Jodie Whittaker, the 13th Doctor, was brilliant here, to coin her catchphrase, and I think she worked a lot better here. And something I really liked was she seemed to be turning in sort of a darker performance. We saw hints of her dark side in things like The Haunting of Villa Diodati, but here, especially when confronting Carvanista and arguing with Yaz, which is something I'll get onto in a minute, she really brought out her dark side, and I really like what they're doing with her. You can see that she's trying to put up a nice happy front for Yaz, but she is just determined to find out as much as she can about the Timeless Child, and is slowly becoming a darker Doctor. And I think her performance here was really good. I think the standout moment was definitely when she confronted Carvanista and wanted to know what he knew about the division, and also that scene when she and Yaz argued. I think if this is the characterisation of the Doctor we're going with this series, then I am all here for it. Yasmin Khan, our returning companion. I think this is a massive improvement over how she's been in Series 11 and Series 12. She seems to have had more character here than in both of those series combined. Again, I think part of the reason for that is the conflict building between her and the Doctor. In Series 11 and 12, she was too quick to just accept whatever the Doctor was doing. But I think even right at the start of the episode, she calls the Doctor out and getting them into the mess with Carvanista in the first place, and then again in the TARDIS calls her out for obviously hiding something from her. And I think she just worked really well, and I think Magic Girl's performance of her worked tremendously in this episode. I also loved the chemistry she had with Dan. Yes, Dan and the Doctor did get a few scenes in this episode, but it was mainly Yaz and Dan having the interactions, and I thought they worked really well off of each other, and I think they'd be a great pairing in future chapters of the series. And the third and final companion we have here is newcomer Dan Lewis. And again, like the other characters, I thought he was great. I think maybe he didn't have as much to do in this episode as I would have liked. It didn't feel like your traditional companion introduction. Usually you have a whole segment focusing on them at the beginning and then they run into the Doctor. This did feel like the Doctor and Yaz's episode and not so much Dan's. But I don't think that was that much of an issue because I thought John Bishop's performance worked really well. Again, the small touches giving him character, like the fact he has no food, the fact he wants to be a tour guide, were just great, and I think he has great chemistry with basically everyone. I also like the fact he just got a bit grumpy at points as well and a bit fed up. I just found that really funny. And I think the character he had the best interactions with was definitely Carvanista. I think the standout moments for him were definitely the scenes with him and Carvanista just talking, and he was great, especially in the cage when he's working things out. He's going to be a really fun character to see in the future. So let's talk about the villains, and the first one I want to talk about is Swarm. I thought he was brilliant. From the word go, he felt menacing, threatening, and genuinely scary. I loved his design, although I will say I think I preferred the initial design before he renewed himself, but that's just personal preference and a small nitpick. But I'm guessing they're setting him up to be the big bad of the series. And he was great. He gave me real Trickster vibes, which is a great thing. I think Carvanista was a character I wasn't expecting to like as much as I did. I thought he was really good and really entertaining. I thought he worked really well with Dan, and I just loved the fact that he was just a miserable old space dog who wanted to kidnap his human and be done with it. I thought he was great, and I think it had a really good twist with the Lupari actually being on a rescue mission to save the people of Earth as opposed to killing them. The Weeping Angel, or Weeping Angel singular, as there was one Weeping Angel which popped up in an absolutely phenomenal scene. I think that might be one of, if not my favourite scene from the episode, so if this is how they're writing the Angels, I cannot wait to see them come back later in the series. Similarly, the Sontarans also showed up, although not for very long, but I loved the way they were characterised in this. I felt like there was a great balance of comedy, but it felt almost darkly comic as well, which I thought worked really well. The new design also looked great, and I cannot wait to see more of the Sontarans on Sunday. So let's talk about the actual plot of the episode and what I liked about that. I thought the plot of the episode was fairly basic, worked really well. It was your sort of classic Doctor Who plot. With the massive stakes, I really felt the stakes of the episode. What I will say is I feel like introducing people such as Joseph Williamson, having the Angels, the Sontarans, all these teasers for the future, even Vinder, as much as I liked his scene, it did feel almost like there were a bit too many storylines for its own good, and it maybe could have streamlined its focus to just Swarm and Carbonista, although I do appreciate the fact that all these people were brought in, although I don't think that necessarily worked all the time. But I did like the storyline with Carbonista. I thought the storyline with Swarm was also really good. I liked the twist of the Lupari, like I said earlier, the Lupari not being invaders but saviours. I thought that worked really well. And for your basic Doctor Who plot, I thought it was really cool. I also found the Flux to be an intriguing mystery, and I think the setup it had here worked really well. And overall, I think it just worked well. Maybe it could have streamlined its focus a bit. It did feel slightly too complicated and seemed like it did have a few too many storylines for its own good at points. But I think the Halloween Apocalypse was a very good opener to the series and definitely gave us a taste of what this one long story format would be like. And for that, I really, really enjoyed it. So I think overall I'm going to give this one 4 Seals of Rassilon out of 5. Yes, that's the rating system we're going with this year. But I want to hear your thoughts. What did you think of the Halloween Apocalypse? Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. Remember to like and subscribe. I've been Cyberman Alf, and from me for now, it's goodbye.
It's Cyberman Alf.
Cyberman Alf. It's Cyberman Alf.